Y'all, if you can really understand what I'm talking about in this video, and it could really like connect with you, I know for a fact this could be easily one of the biggest pieces to your mental freedom that you'll probably ever get. Okay, I've explored this thing pretty thoroughly, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I pretty much got it mastered at this point, and I just want to share with y'all, this wealth of information. So, welcome. I'm calling this the Mental Freedom Manifesto. Now, probably one of the biggest things that I have learned recently that has contributed to the mental freedom and peace and bliss that I have, honestly, is the fact that, let's just start with desires, because that's a big one where there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to desires. After doing the ridiculous amount of research that I've done. And by the way, I'm going to give y'all the answers first and then give you the fluff after. I'm not going to give you the fluff, then give you the answers. I'm going to give you the answer first, then I'm going to give you the fluff. So after all of my research, what I found about desires is, one of the biggest, most popular things you see on the internet is drop your desires. And what I have come to learn is you can't stop your desires. You can't stop let this land. Let this hit. I know it makes sense. I know it makes sense. Contrary to what you've seen or heard before, you can't drop your desires. And here's why. Every last one of us as human beings on this planet, we all have the blessing and the grace of the source of creation in us. And creation is infinite. It's infinite expansion. It don't stop. Don't get me started with God. Don't get me started with God. That's my guy. Okay? That's my guy. So it don't stop. That's why you always have one desire after another, after another, after another, after another. I'm sure you've heard before, if even if I gave you the entire planet Earth here, it's yours. Planet Earth is yours. You literally rule the world of Earth. It's not too long before you're gonna want another planet. It's not too. It's in us. It's encoded in our DNA for infinite expansion. Anything from creation is infinite expansion. Grass does nothing but grow. Does nothing but grow. The ocean don't stop. It's infinite. It don't stop. Yes, dropping your desires per se can help you wash away, I would say, probably that 70% of the stuff that you want but don't need. Yes, it can help you wash away that stuff. But the reason why that has never led you to peace, and I know it's never led you to peace because it's never led me to peace, is because you cannot drop your desires. So that leads us to, okay, so what can we do about it? And shout out to 𝗘𝗅𝗙𝗏 on that one, because he's the person that I have found who has this figured out the most accurate out of everybody else out there. Abraham Hicks, I think she talks about it pretty soon as well. But you can't drop your desires. It's always going to be one after another. So what I have learned that works for me is I had to learn how to control my mind. And what does that mean? The mind only has one function. It has one function and one function only. And that's go. That's the gas pedal. It doesn't have any brakes. It doesn't have any clutch. It doesn't have any reverse. It has one function only, and that's the gas pedal. And that gas pedal is driving you towards whatever you're thinking about. So what helped me when it comes to desires and mastering my mind over my desires is I had to acknowledge let's just say it's a female I like. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a masculine guy. Masculine and feminine, they attract each other. That's nature. That's somewhere else a lot of people getting messed up at. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Matter of fact, let me make a note to talk about that. Masculine and feminine. I'll talk about that later. What I've learned is I just have to acknowledge that, okay, I like this female, or let's just say I want this thing. Just acknowledge that I want it. Then what I have to do is I have to consciously control what is going into my mind. So if I'm looking at this woman and I'm just obsessing, over her, I'm heading for trouble. Why? Because the mind only has one function, and that's the gas pedal. So if I'm thinking about this woman, I'm just driving deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into obsession. Okay, and this works for you if you thinking about whatever, male, female, whatever. Come on, let's not be ridiculous. I'm teaching over here. If you're thinking about that person, you're only driving that deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. You're heading for trouble. What I had to do was I had to consciously grab control of my mind and focus on what I want to think about. So what I think about instead is myself, my life. What are my goals? What am I working towards? What am I achieving? Recording this video. What I have to focus on that. Okay, because if you ever realize it, if you try to drop a desire, it don't work. It don't work. I know it don't work. I've explored this. I know it don't work for you because it damn sure don't work for me. The mind don't work like that. It's in your subconscious mind. It's down there somewhere. If anything, you're only making it worse because now you are letting your subconscious mind, your compulsions, okay, make the choice for you. That is not good because we've been conditioned our entire lives, or I'm gonna say at this point, y'all, because I broke free away from that. I've mastered my mind. Okay, y'all been conditioned your entire lives. What's water to a fish? Okay, so you have all of these conditions that's already in place. You are letting your compulsions dictate what you want to think. You're getting messed up. What you have to do is you have to consciously grab control of your mind. And when I say consciously, I'm talking check in with yourself every 5 minutes. That's why if you I know there's a Buddhist technique where they talk about stare at a flame. If you stare at a flame, why are they teaching you to do that? Because they're teaching you how to hold a steady focus. How to hold a steady focus. Focus on one thing. That's mind training. That's training your mind. That's kind of what yoga is about. It's training your mind to hold the focus. Because when you can hold the focus, you can hold control of your mind. So that's like, for example, now, if let's just say it's a beautiful woman I work with. I'll acknowledge, that I like her or whatnot. But where my mind goes, I will hold my mind on what's the most important thing to me. The more important, honestly, let's just say it's this job. Let's say, the job is treating me well, or whatnot. I'm holding my focus on my job. I have to intentionally hold my focus on, man, this is such a good job, man. I love this job. Even if you acknowledge that there's beautiful women, you could do that. Be like, man, there's beautiful women. I make good money. I like what I'm doing. My boss is not a dick. Look at that. Just by me saying that, don't the energy just feel better? It feel lighter composed to, oh man, that girl so just look at I just feel icky. Just like I could just feel my spirit just jumping out of I could feel like my higher being is just looking at me like, dog, what are you doing? Get focused. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, don't get me wrong. It's nothing with acknowledging, okay, that I'm attracted to her. But the point that I'm making is I have to intentionally choose what I want to focus on because the mind only has one function. Whatever you are thinking about multiplies. It multiplies. You know what I'm saying? That's like, for example, if you don't like somebody, okay, the only reason why that multiplying because you keep focusing on that person. Man, this person is such a jerk, man. This, if you got a roommate, you know what I'm saying, that's you know, nasty or whatnot. Leave hair all up in the sink, leave dishes all out. While you out and about, you at work, you hanging out with your friend, you having drinks because you stressed out. What you saying? Oh man, my roommate, I gotta go back to my roommate. You're just ruminating on it. All it's doing is just stacking up. The mind is just saying, oh, that's what we want to think about? Sure. We don't like our roommate. We hate our roommate. We don't like our roommate. Our roommate is nasty. Our roommate is a jerk. As soon as you walk through the freaking door and you see one dish sitting inside that sink, you going crazy. Because you've been ruminating on it the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And the trick is to, again, consciously grab, and you got to check in with yourself. It's not going to be once. It's not going to be twice. It's going to come up again. Like, let's just say it comes up one time and you like, oh man, my roommate. And you like, nah. We're going to try this thing SLRD is talking about in this video. Let's consciously focus on something else. And don't try to stuff it down. That's another problem. It's in your subconscious mind. Let's just say my head is my conscious mind. My body is my subconscious mind. Just because I'm not actively thinking about it right now don't mean that it's not inside of me and it's not affecting how I function. Okay, that's the beauty. I made a video about this. That's the beauty of getting triggered, because when you get triggered, that is something from your subconscious mind immediately shooting up to your conscious mind. And usually it's something that offends you pretty strong. And then that's the beauty of getting triggered, though, because all getting triggered is just, you know, whenever we meditate, it's like we're especially if you're doing intentional meditation, you're trying to dig up the shadow work. You're trying to dig up the dirt that's inside of you. But if you get triggered, it already did the work for you. It already did the work for you. Oh man, America and their agendas. I can't stand it. I hate it. It already did the work for you. So at that point, all you got to do is just hold it, okay? This is why another shadow work or a lot of spiritual masters would teach you to just observe the thought. Don't think about it right or wrong. Just observe the thought, because when you just observe the thought, it takes time to just naturally dissipate in your mind. And what you'll notice is you'll have a huge sense of relief. You'll have a huge sense of relief from it. You know what I'm saying? And then when you have that huge sense of the relief, that's when you can release your attachment to it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you keep trying to stuff it down, it's still in there. You haven't addressed it. You have to go through, I don't know, maybe that's just the way the universe designed this thing. Because the main reason why you even got messed up in the situation to begin with is because you left your base. You put your focus on someone else. You put your focus on something else that ain't got a damn thing to do with you. So I honestly feel like, and this is just a theory, but it might be true, okay? Because a lot of my theories really be true, you know, as time passed. I feel like that's probably just God's perfect balance of the world to say, I gotta spank you. I gotta spank you because you lost your alignment. And you know you're not here for that. You lost your alignment. So it's gonna hurt. It's going to hurt. I think that's why we go through hurt. If you think about it, the only time you get emotionally really hurt, you go through that breakup pain, is when you lost yourself. You lost yourself. That's like one of the most popular things. I remember there was this quote running around saying, never in my life will I ever believe that someone is not capable of being like that to me. You know what I'm saying? You dropped your guard. I'm not saying, you know, it's war between you and the other person, but it is war between you keeping yourself aligned. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, fellas, you know, I know y'all could definitely relate to this. I'll be honest with you. One of my ultimate tests One of my ultimate tests was females. That was the highest level for me to conquer. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell you from experience, when you're vibrating high, okay, it start attracting all kinds of stuff to you, especially females. Okay, I gotta give y'all credit. Females really are extremely intuitive. They can smell that shit from another country. From the moment you walk into a room, they can smell it. They're like, oh man, this brother got himself together. They can smell it. It's just in their nature somewhere. Okay, ignore that at your own peril. But when you start vibrating high, you start attracting all kinds of stuff, opportunities, females, you name it. And I'll be honest, I would, get wrapped up, I get caught up, I lose myself. Even if I lose myself even a little bit, okay, because I'm one of God's people. Okay, so God runs me very strict. God runs me on a very tight rope. The rewards are worth it though, don't get it twisted. But God runs me on a very tight rope. And the second I lost myself, God hit the eject button. Oh, we're done here. And then I got to go through this whole process. Depending on how much I lost myself, I got to go through this whole process of finding myself again, calling my energy back. Is this making sense? I know it's making sense. I got to go through this whole process of just calling my energy back and getting my energies back up. That shit take days, weeks, months, depending on how hard you fell off. Years, depending on how hard you fell off. It takes a while. And I feel like that's just God's perfection of the universe saying, hey man, you kind of lost sight of what's going on here. You kind of forgot. So, hey man, you got to sit in this time out. So, you know what I'm saying? And anyway, I feel like that's a huge consequence. But again, man, the point is, in order to avoid that from happening, you have to keep control of your mind. Okay, I seen something recently that said, whenever you got happy, whenever you obtained something, it's not the thing itself that caused your happiness. The thing itself only influenced you to trigger the switch in your mind that caused the happiness, but it wasn't the thing itself. That just had an influence in your mind that caused the happiness. But you have the power to create that happiness in your mind without the thing. And that goes the same way to how there's that saying that say, be of the world, be in the world, but not of the world. Or what, I always forget however it goes. Be in the world, but not of the world. I think that's how it goes. That's what they're saying. They're saying find that distance between you and the world, because your mind is honestly a blank canvas. Okay? The only reason why your conditions made you sad is because it's the same thing with when you buy something. Your conditions only influence you to think sadness. But sadness don't exist in your mind. Your condition only influence you. Like, let's just say someone stole your phone or your phone broke. You know what I'm saying? That condition only influence you to think sadness. But you can master your mind you build up enough momentum with this thing. You can master your mind to the point where it don't matter what happened. You're always happy. You know what I'm saying? That's like what cannabis does. You already have cannabis receptors in your brain. All cannabis really does is it just triggers those receptors. It's already there. You already have access to it. All cannabis is just the key. It's just an instant key. But you can do that. This is what Sadhguru talks about in one of his videos where he said getting stoned without drugs. You can unlock that without the cannabis. You can unlock happiness without substances, without drugs, because it's all about your mind. It's all about what you think about. So what's going to happen is, mind you, you've been conditioned literally your entire life. So you're going to say, all right, SLR, I'm going to give this thing a shot. I'll hear you out. I'm going to give it a shot. And you're going to try to consciously think what you want to think. The old you is going to be kicking, fighting, fussing, and screaming. Nah, hell nah, man. He just disrespected me, man. You out your mind, man. I'm going to go let him have it. You know what I'm saying? That's the old you. That's the old you. It's kicking, fighting, fussing, and screaming because you're trying to feed yourself something different. You're trying to do something different, but it's just like a muscle. The more you do it, the more you get that momentum. Abraham Hicks talks about this. Your vibrational escrow. The more you do it, the more you're getting momentum. You know what I'm saying? And here's something that I had to learn, okay? You have to intentionally grab that control, because if you don't, your subconscious compulsions and pattern is going to write the program for you anyway. So the program is going to get written. Okay, you might as well consciously grab control of it and you steer yourself in what direction you want to go in. It's not like you can say, I'm not in the mood for that. Nope, that program going to get written already. So trust you me, you want to control it, because if you don't, it's going to build up momentum in whatever, whatever, you know what I'm saying, the direction is. But it really is true. You become what you focus on, whatever you think about, whatever you consistently think about. So you have to start consistently thinking about whatever you want to consistently think about. I highly recommend that it's something that's in tune and aligned with your higher being. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's just pretty much the way that works. Here's something else I want to talk about. Going back to the masculine and feminine. Here's something else that I also observed recently that gave me a huge sense of freedom. And you know, guys and females alike, this is probably more can help guys, because we live in this world where masculinity is being a bit demonized. Okay, but here's the problem. That's nature, buddy. That's nature. The masculine and the feminine attract each other. You want freedom? You want freedom? Stop resisting your attraction to the feminine. Okay? Trust me. It's extremely liberating. Okay? It's extremely liberating. And of course, you know, do it within a sense of trying your best to have, you know, control and not just go ridiculous. But by nature, the masculine and the feminine, because society has to go on. Life has to go on. You know what I'm saying? So by nature, the masculine and the feminine attracts each other. Do a little bit of research and homework into that. Okay? And stop denying, okay, that attraction, and watch how much better your life goes for you. Watch, and another way it's going to give you peace is you're going to start being more honest with the people you're interacting with. And I'll be honest, it really is kind of more up to the guy to do this, because it's just in females' nature. They just have this aversion to make the move. It's the feminine. Okay, the masculine, I don't want to get too deep with it, but do some homework on that, okay? Because that is also some very powerful stuff. So, man, you know, I guess I think I could just wrap this up, you know what I'm saying, just by saying that the issue is not the contents in your mind. The issue is where your focus is at. Okay, and just to recap, you cannot eliminate desire. You cannot eliminate. You're gonna always consistently have desire, and once again, that's where jealousy come from, whether it's you. Just think about yourself. Be honest with yourself for a second. The reason why you feel jealous of somebody else is because we have, I don't know if I said this already, I'm sorry if I did, we have that proclivity for infinite expansion. So whenever somebody else, you know, let's just say Chad, okay, whenever Chad gets the new Hellcat or whatever, you feel that jealousy in you because we all have that proclivity for expansion. So by society standards, okay, and energetic and prosperity standards, Chad getting that Hellcat is him expanding. You know what I'm saying? And because we all, every last one of us as human beings have this inside of us, because we all have this in us, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel some level of jealousy because you want that Hellcat. That's why we try to keep up with the Joneses and stuff like that, because it don't stop. So a more healthy direction is to understand that and grab control of that and go after the things that are in line with your spirit. I'm not saying to stop desiring. You can't do that. Okay, you're gonna always want something. You're gonna always want something. Look at us. We invented the wheelbarrow, and then somebody came along and said, "Nah, I ain't feeling that. We ain't doing that." Then you know we learned how to ride horses or whatever. Then somebody else came along and said, "Nah, I ain't feeling that." And then we learned how to make a car. And then somebody else came along and said, "Nah, I ain't feeling that." Then they made a go-kart. Somebody came along and said, "Nah, I ain't feeling that. Let me make a golf cart." Somebody else came along and said, "I ain't feeling that. Let me make a boat." You know what I'm saying? That could just float on the sea. Somebody else came along and said, "Nah, I want more." They made a speedboat. Somebody else came along and said, "Nah, they ain't doing it for me." They made a jet ski. Somebody else came along and said, "Nah, I want more." They made a fucking yacht. You see what I'm saying? This is our nature. So that's one of the biggest things, man, that just changed my life, man, was focusing my intention. I learned how to master that. And, you know, I did that, and honestly, I haven't been stressed at all. Like right now, bro, honestly, I'm not even lying to you. It's 12:47 a.m. and look at all this energy I got, because there's no friction in my mind. Thus, there's no friction in my body throughout the day, because I mastered my mind. The only reason why you get stressed out at work is because you're feeding into your environment. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say at work, you know what I'm saying, you used to date, you know, one of your coworkers, and they just over there in the other cubicle talking mad trash about you. The only reason why that sucks energy out of you and you get wrapped up in that is because you're focusing on that. You're like, what this trick said about me, man, you out your mind. And then look at that, you already left yourself. I even feel weird doing this now. That's how practiced I am now with it. And to be honest with you, I've only been consciously doing it for maybe about 2 weeks, but of course I've been meditating for like the past decade, and I just had to make the connection with, oh, that's what meditation is trying to get you to do, is to create that separation. But more importantly, it's teaching you how to focus. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason why that takes energy from you is because you're taking energy from yourself. And when you take energy from yourself, I mean, that's a little self-explanatory. There's no life force coming into you. This world ain't going to give you that life force. You got to feed yourself. You know what I'm saying? So when you leave yourself, you leave your ground. That's why you get tired. That's why you get exhausted. That's why breakups hurt. Because you left yourself. Shout out to 𝗘𝗅𝗙𝗏. I originally got that from him, but I understand what that means now. Okay? The real reason why it hurts is because you divorced yourself. Whew. So good. So good. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We can go ahead and wrap that up, man. This is the mental freedom manifesto. So learn how to think consciously. And don't try to run away from desires. Learn how to control them. SLRD. You know where to subscribe at if you want more, because there is more. God bless.